right, it's game day. Look at everyone with their Titans gear. I'm going outside real quick because it's a little cold outside. Day 4 or 5. We're in here, ready to go. It's game day. Tying up. Let's go.
Whether it's the regular season or the off season, we have you covered as we give you the best Tennessee Titans and NFL news and insight that a fan could ask for. You're watching the Titan Upload Network.
What is going on, Titan Nation? We appreciate you all tuning in for another weekly episode of the Rossi Report. Of course, we have a very special guest on the bottom here, Mr. Titan. How you doing, man?
What's up? What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Titan Nation, stand up. It's bye week, so we can all chill, right?
Right.
No.
You know, right. It's, I know, Alex, you're probably more, I feel like you're more of kind of a positive fan than maybe a lot of people are. Like, I know a lot of people on Twitter and, even myself, I get, and everybody gets into the game in their own certain way. I get so into it, I get negative a lot. I'll be the first to tell you, I feel like, you've always been kind of more on the positive side of things, but I just want to start off kind of with, I know, you being in London, it was an awesome time just to be in London, period, I imagine, but how did it feel in person at the game? Like, in your opinion, how did the team, were they flat? How do you think, how was it portrayed to you as far as how they came out and played?
So obviously, if you guys, everyone could tell, right? Like the beginning, they came out flat for the first half. But generally speaking, from like an audience member point of view, you can tell like it felt like a home game for the Ravens, which obviously if you're going to London, you kind of expect that. We had around 200 in our group, and from what I was told, they had around 400 to 500 in their group. So right there already, you can tell like, okay, there's a big shift in audience members. But I was talking to a couple of people that are from the UK that just came to watch the game that were Eagles fans. And they said, they're like, hey, yeah, for the most part, there's a lot of Baltimore Ravens fans in the UK. And there's a lot of this, a lot of that. Didn't hear too much about the Tennessee Titans or Titan fans there. So, and you can definitely tell when it was third down, who was the heavily favored team. It was pretty great. Like I said, it was even when it was third down for us and, against the Ravens and stuff, you barely heard too many Titan fans. Just the noise level was completely different from the get-go, and the game didn't really help the Tennessee Titans as a whole in itself. I think me personally getting there, I left Tuesday, got there Wednesday morning. The next day was a little rough for me to actually adjust my body, my sleep schedule. I did wake up Wednesday morning at 7, went back to sleep and woke up at 12. And I was like, I completely so them getting there at Friday morning and then them, waking up Saturday, and they had to feel it, I think it could definitely been a part, even though they're already struggling as a whole itself, that probably didn't, help them as a team. And it could have been like, that slow start from the first half of them not waking up or just kind of getting adjusted to. But at the same time, that's kind of been the Titans all season, though. So I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've been overseas, James. I know you've been overseas. I've been to pretty far away places like South Korea and Spain. And, Italy and stuff. But, you know, every time I went overseas, it took me a whole, you know, day and a half to get back to feeling like, because that jet lag is a weird feeling. Like, you know, it's just, it's not like any other feeling. It's like you kind of feel like you're like a zombie almost, you know, and it does take your energy away. And that was the big deal. A lot of people the media made a big deal about it. You know, everybody did. And at first I was like, you know, it's not that big a deal. Everybody's just blah, blah, blah. But I don't know, man. The way they came out, I mean, I feel like it did. But like you said, it's hard to freaking tell because it's been so up and down, like mainly down, but it's just
for the most part, it's something that we haven't. It's something that should be surprised by now. Like I told people, like, "Oh man, you guys lost to Ravens." I'm like, "Yeah, but you know, not to sound negative, but it's kind of what you expect. You don't know what to expect from this team. So like, yeah, they did just enough to kind of keep you engaged, and yeah, they did just enough to keep you like, okay, maybe there could be a turnaround. Maybe we could do something, and then they just kind of just let you down. So shame on us for I guess getting our hopes up. I mean, we've been through this time and time before, so but it's like the curse of the time, man. You know.
Definitely, man. And James, I want to ask you this because I know you watch like all 22 footage after every game and you're into that type of thing. And, you know, would you say this team at where they stand at 2-4, they're just a bad team, or they're just, you know, what's the main issue? Are they just a terrible team? They're a bad team? They're an inconsistent team? You know, what do you think it is? Is there a primary reason that they're just playing the way they are?
They're not a team. They're not playing as a team. There's a bunch of individuals out there trying to make individual plays, and they're not playing as a unit, as a cohesive unit. And some of that is coaching, but most of that is on the players themselves. You know, the coaches can tell you what to do. They can tell you how you're supposed to play a defense or how you're supposed to play this on offense, but they can't make you do the things you're supposed to be doing. A prime example is, you know, when you watch the All 22, and I've watched it 4 times already. I watch different things when I'm watching the All 22, and so it forces me to watch it like 3 or 4 times. So one of the things was, you know, Jeffrey Simmons was getting double team blocked. The guard was coming over and the tackle was blocking him at the same time. And it was almost like everyone was afraid that Lamar was going to take off running. So no one rushed the gap that's left, you know, which is usually the A gap that's left, right? No one came through that A gap. And then and then what ends up happening is you got your you have your nose tackle who's peeking, who's playing peekaboo, and it causes problems because he's not supposed to be in that particular A gap, right? He's not supposed to be there, but his head's over there. That's where the linebacker is supposed to be, and that screws up the linebacker's ability to shoot that gap when he sees someone take off running. Right? So they're playing as individuals trying to be Superman and make these tackles and make these plays, when if they just did what they were supposed to do, it makes it easier on the next guy. Right? Because you don't end up with those combo blocks.
I want to play a clip and shout out to, you know, the media and that lets us use their clips. It's in the description, who they are and everything. But this is Jeffrey Simmons after the game.
Figure something out. We need to figure out the guys who, you know, going to fight. We need to figure out the guys who want to be out there. Not the guys that don't want to be out there. That's what it need to be. We need to reevaluate our team and, figure it out. That's the message. Let's figure it out. Who want to play football for the Titans?
So, I mean, and Alex, I'll ask you this, man. Like, do you think for what you're saying, James, yeah, it makes sense. To me, they're not a team too. Like, how do you feel about it, Alex? Like, do you feel like it's more of, just a bunch of individual guys? I mean, it seems like Simmons is one of the few people that actually step up and say something, maybe Byard sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like there's too much. I think this team has just too many holes where you can't just be like, okay, it's it's offensive line. Oh, it's quarterback. I think there's many, there's many holes in this team right now, and situations where you just kind of have to blame them as a whole. I mean, it is what it is. You got to blame them as as a team. That's not a good team, and starts with offensive coordinator, starts with offensive line, starts with QB. I mean, you can go on and on. You can talk about the secondaries. There's a lot of problems in this team right now that seems to lose its way, and it seems like they haven't found their identity. Where we remember back in the day was, we know exactly what the Tennessee Titans are. This team doesn't seem to have that, and this looks like the wheels are starting to lose, lose their wheels and stuff like that. So I don't know, man.
Right.
It's
there are some bright spots. This is not all doom and gloom. There are some bright spots. One of the bright spots is that Tim Kelly is not predictable. On offense, he's calling different plays from different from different formations.
I feel like he's trying.
Yeah, he's trying. But the end result is not very good. But at the same time, he doesn't have, when it comes, and I think if the offensive line is better, boy, this team could be scoring some points. But this offensive line is garbage at times, not all the time.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, sometimes they will absolutely stone a block, and then other times it's like they are stones themselves, and you just have to step over them. I mean, I don't know how to get more consistency out of this team, but it's got to start with playing as a unit. And you can see the progress if you watch the right side of the offensive line. They're actually playing well. That right side is playing well. And that's why you see NPF moved over to the left side at left tackle, is because they don't want to break that right side up, because they're beginning to gain traction. They know what each other like, what they dislike, that kind of stuff. There are bright spots when you have Derrick Henry and Tajay, aka No Knees, playing together in the backfield. That creates a lot of problems for defenses. I mean, you just can't let Tajay go out. If he goes out in the flat, you just can't leave him alone. But then again,
right,
if you're working off the play action with Derrick Henry, you can't leave him alone. So it puts defenses in binds. But then, the only deep threat we've got right now is Hopkins. And he's really not a deep threat. He's more of an intermediate threat. With Burks being down,
it's tough.
You don't have anything. You got two intermediate threats. I just, and special teams is horrid. I mean, punt return is horrid. I mean, look, everyone knows I've coached before. The first thing you tell anyone who's doing punt returns, put your feet on the 10, don't move back. If the ball is in front of you, then you have a chance. And if you think you got a chance to go get it, go get it. But if it's under 10 seconds, if it's under 1 minute left in the game or left in the half, just let it go. That's right. Those are the rules. Those are the rules you follow. If the ball is over your head and your feet are is at the 10, let it go. If the ball is coming to you and your feet is at the 10 and there's less than a minute left less than a minute left, let it go. It's that simple. It's not hard. It's basic.
I was relating with that, like when he,
That's boneheaded, and he's done it 4 times. Get his butt over to the sideline. No more, Kyle. You're not punt returning anymore.
Yeah, I bet you that had to suck when you were sitting there at the stadium, Alex. Like you're thinking, "Oh, here we go, we're coming back," and
to be honest with you, I was actually going to the bathroom because I thought, like, okay, the
yeah,
we're gonna go into halftime. They're not gonna score anymore. We're not gonna. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then I come back to.
golly.
How did they score? Like what happened here? So yeah, it was.
I want to play. It's a perfect segue, and Upload made a clip out of his meltdown that he had during the watch party.
Oh my god,
this is hilarious. I'll play it real quick. This was when Phillips fumbled.
Dumb here. Kyle Phillips should be back to return the punt. There's Phillips. He's going to try to catch it at the 10. He fumbles the ball. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I am sick and tired of this crap. And it's not even Kyle Phillips' fault. It's coaching. Because Kinsey did just as good a job. Phillips already fumbled multiple times leading up to this game.
Oh man, that is great. I did not see that. That is hilarious. That's the first time I ever seen.
Yeah, it's like a 3-minute clip. It's hilarious because look, everybody knows we're all massive fanatics of Mason Kinsey on this channel. And he did very well for 2 games straight, averaged 12.5 yards, had a 21-yard return, never fumbled. Never anything. And then the next week we're like, oh, our 5th round pick is back who's never done anything. Let's throw him in there again. After he, and look, Kyle Phillips has a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong. But the poor kid, every time he gets tackled, it looks like his body is going to just break. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But he just looks I don't know if it's just not like he doesn't have that football, like that pro build or whatever. But every time he gets hit, I'm like, like
He needs to drink some more milk. He needs milk.
Right, dude. Like,
hey, you need to send me that clip of Hubble. That was pretty funny. I never seen him like that's wild. That's
dude, I'll send you the link. It's I mean it's like I think it was the latest video, but I'll send it to you. It's hilarious, man. He just straight went. I've never seen him get that.
Me
bad,
neither. He needs to relax. He might get a heart attack on mid live stream, man. Gotta be careful.
It was great though, man. What a great moment.
Do I need to call a doctor so you can give him some Valium or something?
Yeah, maybe. He seemed like he was.
And if you watch it on the live show, it wasn't just like. He just cut out a 3-minute section or 2 or 3 minute section of it. It went on.
He went off for about 10 minutes. Yeah, nice. Which I don't blame him, man. I mean, I get it. I get it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And like that's what the Titans do. But I don't know, man. Just it is what it is.
There are 2 things that I've noticed with the Titans organization, specifically with this coaching staff and this staff that we have. They do not value receivers the way other teams value receivers. And they do not value punt and kickoff return guys like other teams do.
No.
I mean, like a lot of teams, I would say more than half teams have punt return specialists because that is number one, it takes big cojones to do punt returns. It really does. I mean, you got 250, 300-pound guys running down the field full speed at you, and you've got to, and you're running full speed toward them. So it's really hard. It's a really hard thing. Number 2 is the ball will move a lot. You have to You have to be able to judge that. You have to wait for its apex. There's a lot of technical things that go inside of a punt return. And I don't think that this team values that. They just don't. Well, let me rephrase that. If they do value that, I ain't seen it yet.
The slot is non-existent in our offense. I mean, I guess they put NWI in there and like, but as far as
NWI is
actual
not a slot receiver, he is not.
He's not. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's not just, I mean, maybe it should be. maybe we should change that up, you know, like, maybe make that a part of the offense. But I mean, if you don't have anybody to run the position that's hurt all the time, then, you know, what do you do? Like,
Well, they've got guys that could do it. You know, Mason Kinsey can do it. Karis Jackson can do it, but he's never healthy.
right.
You know, you got Kyle Phillips can do it. Once again, he's never healthy. So, I mean, you got one guy who seems to be always healthy, and you keep throwing out guys. I mean, I hate to say it this way, but at some point in time, you have to, you have to have what I call coming to Jesus moment with yourself and be like, okay, look, this guy and this guy isn't working.
Right.
Yeah, we spent draft capital on this guy, but he's not producing, producing on the field of play in a game is much different than producing in practice. Practice doesn't win you games. A guy who can produce in practice doesn't win you games unless he can do it in the game. And I just
that's almost like the same thing as Malik Willis. We can say that. We can jump into that conversation.
yeah.
Malik Willis has improved.
Where I was gonna go, like, with that's where I was gonna ask you, Alex, is like, we all saw Malik in the game, and it was not good. But I mean, moving forward, I mean, you see all these people now. It's down to Will Levis and Malik Willis, and it's a rough situation. What are you doing as the coach if you're moving forward, knowing that Tannehill's probably going to be out a few weeks or however long it is? Who are you putting in there? Like,
well,
I don't know.
Everyone's like, well, you got to give Malik Willis a chance. We have to do this. We have to do that. Okay. He played last year, right? He played the Kansas City game. He played the Houston game. So we've seen Malik play. He might have improved a tad bit, but then again, what I saw yesterday, the last game was kind of almost the same Malik Willis that I saw last year, where he was a little gun shy, running for his life, didn't trust his arm, didn't trust his receivers. In my opinion, I saw already what I need from Malik. Do they give him another shot? Maybe. Do they go with Will Levis? I wouldn't mind seeing Will Levis. At the same time, to be honest with you, I don't think we have our franchise QB within Will Levis and Malik Willis. I can't just say that Will Levis isn't the guy. Again, I haven't seen too much. That's unfair to not give him a shot and just count him out. So I'm interested to see what Will Levis does on the field, but it's kind of hard when you have this offensive line, like what quarterback's going to do, what can they do with this offensive line or this wide receiver core? You saw it a little bit. Ryan Tannehill with the same offensive line looked a little better, was able to throw the ball. Then you put in Malik in. Malik plays, I think, like 15 snaps, gets four sacks. It's hard to tell. But in my opinion, I don't believe we have, like I said, I don't think we have our future QB that's going to lead us down the stretch. But I wouldn't mind seeing Will Levis go in there, see what you got with him. I mean, we only saw him one game in preseason. He didn't see too much. And see what the kid can do, So that's really that's my take, to be honest with you, on that QB situation.
James, I know you got some thoughts.
Yeah. For all of you who were talking about Ryan Tannehill sucks and he's horrible and all that, I present my case on this last Sunday in London. He gives you the best chance to win.
100%.
He does, unfortunately.
Number two is Will, and I've said this many times. I don't know how many times I have to say this. Malik Willis was is a 2.5-year project. Okay, he played at Liberty. He was great at Liberty because they only asked them to do one or two things. Right, read your primary receiver, read your check down receiver, and then run. That was his job. That's all he did. So it's going the pro game is a lot faster than the competition he had at Liberty. Will Levis, to me, after watching every game he played in college, I've watched every game multiple times. I still call him Frank Abagnale because he's counterfeit. I do not think that he is capable of doing the things that an NFL quarterback needs to do. I could be 100% wrong, and I would be happy to be wrong with that. I would be happy for him to come in and just tear up the NFL. I don't think he has it in him. I don't think he's ever going to have it in him. So, and I agree with you that we don't have that guy on the team yet. And they're going to waste draft pick after draft pick after draft pick. If you're going to waste a draft pick on a quarterback, then, I would have much rather have seen them, heck, Will Levis has been hurt the whole time we've had him anyway. You might as well have gone after Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's been hurt the whole time. So,
well, you look at it too, as well as we had Malik Willis. It shows you the confidence they have in him as well. And they put in Josh Dobbs, who was someone that they just signed, and they put him in to even lead this team to try to clinch a division in Jacksonville last year. That should show you already how much faith this team has in Malik Willis. And I just don't, like I said, I just don't see it. I don't see it with him. I don't see it with Will Levis as well. And
but to defend him, Malik, a little bit, and the coaching staff a little bit, he is a rocket scientist. Okay.
Yeah.
He is a rocket scientist. The kid is smart. He's really, really smart. Honestly, Josh Dobbs, people say we should try to keep him or whatever. I don't know about that, but what I do know is I think that the quarterback that the Titans need and want is not on this team, and they're going to be floundering around in the wilderness until they find him. And the other thing is stop going away from Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
3rd and 1, and you've got Tajay Spears in there. Okay.
And you know what? Here's another thing you can kind of a topic you can bring up. It's maybe the Tennessee Titans aren't good at developing players. Maybe we should start looking at that, Maybe we should start looking at what the Tennessee Titans do and our history in developing players or developing young QBs. As we saw, there's examples of Marcus Mariota trying to make him a pocket passer, which he wasn't. So that could kind of play an effect as well.
Put your players in a position to succeed.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. And I do want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate y'all very much.
What up, Matty?
Tighten up that like button if you haven't yet. You guys are all awesome. I see all your comments there. We'll get to some of them here, and I appreciate you guys. Also, if you haven't checked out Homage yet, please do. They're our sponsor. They have awesome Titans gear, awesome NFL gear, any team you want. Check the link in the description. You'll get, I think it's 15 to 20% off. It changes here and there, but with our link, you'll get a percentage off of anything on the store. They have custom Titans shirts, Oilers shirts, all types of amazing gear. I think James might be wearing one of their shirts. I'm not sure.
I am.
So yeah, go check them out, guys. And they have starter jackets that just came out too. But like I said, links in the description. Just click on it and order whatever you want. Order, $10,000 worth. It'd be awesome. Well,
I'm right now. I'm saving my Tennessee Oilers shirt for a next week's show, so I can
right.
tick off some Houston people.
That's the game against Atlanta where they're doing the Oilers thing or something. That's where they're wearing the Oilers uniforms, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they can, let's look at the schedule real quick while we're talking about it here. I mean, I thought I put the new. Oh, here it is. Here, the updated one. So obviously going into the bye, really, I mean, the Titans, they got Atlanta and Pittsburgh. What is Pittsburgh's I don't even know what they are. They've had a few wins. So they're 3-2. Obviously their offense is terrible. They've only scored 79 points. I mean, not saying much about ours either. But the Titans, they got Atlanta. Atlanta's not really played well. I mean, that's a chance where they could rebound at home. We seem to get up at home. And then you got Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And is that a Sunday night game?
Thursday.
Or a Thursday night game. So quick turnaround. I mean, you could easily be back to 4-4 and be back, it's a good chance for them to kind of redeem themselves, or it's a chance for them to just completely tank.
Yeah, the schedule is very favorable. It's not a hard schedule.
Yeah.
I think the only people that we play that could be a little bit tough, obviously, is Jacksonville, the division game, just because they're so close. But the Miami game, that's the only game that right now that I've seen other than the division games that could be a challenge for us. Other than that, I mean, you got Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Those are supposedly on paper gimme wins. Obviously, it's the NFL. Every team comes, they show up. So you can't say that. But as of right now, Seattle's another team. So those are Carolina. Like those games should be, W's. But again, you never know what team shows up for the Tennessee Titans, though. That's the thing.
Oh man, yeah.
So
yeah, these guys.
What do you think, James? Can they turn it around in these next two games?
The only way they turn this around is if these guys do some soul searching and say, look, I haven't been playing my best ball. I've been out there, you lollygag on the field, you lollygag off the field. What does that make you? A lollygagger. I think that these guys need to start playing with the team. They have to. If they're not, this team, these guys, I'm not going to call them a team. The Tennessee Titan guys are playing as individuals, right? And I think one of the things that's got to happen is we've got to start. I know that this team is trying to slowly transition away from Derrick Henry, but it's not working. It's just plain not working, and it's not going to work because this team was built around Derrick Henry. It was built around his abilities, and other defenses are scared of Derrick Henry. Use it. Use it to your advantage. Put your players in position to win these matchups. Once that happens and these players stop, I don't know what you would call it, playing individually, this team could win and could start having blowouts. This team could blow teams out. But what did I say at the beginning of the season, Rossi?
The Bengals.
Who was the key to this Titans defense? And people disagreed with me. They said no. It's Jeff Simmons. Who did I say was the key to this defense? And everybody disagreed.
I mean, Tear Tart.
I said Tear Tart was the key to this defense. He's been out. how has his defense performed since he's been out?
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, a team's a team, right? And we've seen Mike Vrabel teams, 2 years ago when Julio and I mean the injuries were just ungodly, and they still played well. I mean, they were in games, and yes. Well, I agree. Like especially this year because you don't have that other guy like Tier Tart. That team had I'd have to go back at the roster, but I know there was a couple guys who played really well in that defensive front that came in. I can't remember who it was that year. It was a couple backup guys who were like played really well for us on that defensive line. But you don't have that now. You don't seem to have that guy that's stepping up. And you're right, man. Tier Tart, he's a mountain. He's a mountain of a man. And it's really hurting us. And, we still don't know when he's going to be back. He's got the turf toe, and that's such a nagging football injury. I don't know what's going to happen, man. I just hope it would be nice for us to pull out a win against Atlanta. And, it would give the guys some confidence and, maybe get them mentally, I don't know, maybe get them mentally back on track. Speaking about that, I want to play a video real quick of Vrabel. This was PK going back and forth with Vrabel after the game.
Frustrated with the repetition, or something's
frustrated with losing.
Something's unable to be corrected given
Probably.
what you have?
Maybe. We'll see. But not going to stop trying. Not going to stop trying to prepare them and teach them and fundamentals and execution. There'll be some good plays in there, and there'll be certainly the ones in there that we have to eliminate that are getting us beat.
So, Alex, you see him there. How rare is it for Mike Vrabel to say, the way he said, like, when he says, is it, what do you say? It's uncorrectable or something. He's like, maybe not or something. That's a rare thing for Vrabel to say.
He seemed like he was beaten, almost like he was like that PK actually won. It was weird. Usually with that,
right.
It comes up with a smart ass remark with PK or comes at him, but he just seems like he was just kind of done. Just like, yeah, like, it is what it is. This is what we have in our team. And that's funny though, because during the tailgate, PK came by, and I was talking to him for a little bit, and just trying to pick his brain. And it's nothing. A lot of people don't like PK. I mean, he can be a little aggressive, but at the same time, he asks the questions a lot of reporters don't want.
I like him.
And I think for what it is, I mean, that's one of the questions you want to ask. Like, hey, what's happening with this team? Like, is this something that's fixable? And Mike Vrabel, just his body language and the way he responded just seemed like just it was done. It was over.
I mean, honestly, if I'm in coaches speak, okay, I can go into coaches speak. What he said was, I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's exactly what he was saying. That's in coaches speak. That's what he's saying. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know. At this point, I don't know how to fix this. Because I don't really think it's the coaching. I really think it's the players. I don't think there are some players that are out there playing with heart, but there's not enough of them out there playing with enough heart. Number one, bonehead penalties. Those are mental errors. You can't have mental errors when your margin of error on this team is so slim. I mean, the margin of error for this team is really, really slim. You can't have those bonehead plays. And if you watch him on the sidelines from time to time, you'll see him just do this. He'll just put his head down, put his hands on his knees, and he'd just kind of shake his head. I mean, because it's bonehead things that are getting us beat. This team is not going to score 40 points. This team is the way this team is designed and built is to go out there, and it's going to be a slobber knocker of a game. And you're going to have to play all 4 quarters, and you're going to have to play to the echo of the whistle. And this team is not doing it. It's almost as if this team is just kind of like just happy to be out there. You know what I'm saying? They're just happy to be in the NFL.
Right.
And you've got 3 or 4 guys, on offense and 3 or 4 guys on defense who are out there giving 100%, and you got other guys out there just smiling for the cameras.
There's Titan Kong says, any thoughts on Aziz? I don't think he's it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't tackle well. I feel like we're missing, and that was a question going into this season, was a big question mark, the inside linebacker position. For whatever reason, Monty Rice is not in the picture. And everybody was pretty high on Monty Rice. They bring in Aziz, and he's just not played well. Like, he doesn't tackle well. He takes bad angles. I don't know. And Gibbons, I feel like Gibbons is okay, but is he really a starting inside linebacker? I think that's a lot of the issue with the run defense. I mean, would y'all agree, or I don't know. I mean, I just feel like that's a big issue. With Tierra Tart not being in there.
They're allowing these guards to get up on the defense. The linebackers in the defense are climbing that defense, and that's because all they've got to do really right now is double team one guy, and then the rest of the guys can climb to the second level of the defense. That's where we're having problems. Aziz, he doesn't tackle well, but he makes up for it by not being able to read an offense well either. So, I mean, but I think that's a function of this defense. Do you remember the defense last year and the year before? They did a lot of stunts. They did a lot of twists.
Yeah.
Delays and things like that. And I don't think that they have the ability to do that with Aziz in there. And I don't think they have the ability to do that with Dr. Gibby in there. So you're kind of stuck. You know what I'm saying? So, and then you also have the problem with, you got guards and tackles that don't have to block because the center can take the nose guard one-on-one and win. And so you end up with this spot where you're just kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like Vrabel, I don't know what to tell you, dog. I just don't know what to tell you.
And Alex, I know you got to get going here in a minute, but just kind of your last thoughts on what do you see this team really doing realistically? Like, I mean, I know the fan and all of us wants to say we're going to win, but how do you think this is going to pan out over the next few games and that type of thing?
It's hard to say. I know this team's obviously not going to tank. Mike Vrabel is not going to tank. He's just too hard-headed. Rand Carthon as his first official season as manager. I mean, as general manager, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't think it's going to look good. I think they want to show as much production. They want to be as physical. They want to be, let's say, competitive. You don't want to just lay over and just, But at the same time, you got to look at what we can do in the draft, what we can do with the trade deadline. I know they've talked about it, and names have been brought up. You got Kevin Byard, you have, Derrick Henry. And that's been several times already throughout the years with Derrick Henry, and Kevin Byard. Now, they could be, rumors or whatnot. So it really depends on what they do. If they do eventually trade one of those names, or then yeah, we could see as a soft rebuild coming up. I think the draft next year is heavily favored in
Right.
offense. Can we look at that? Can we kind of build our offensive line? Would they draft another quarterback for the third year in a row? Like, would they be able to do that? Would they do that? I don't know. But yeah, you would have to see with what happens with the trade deadline. I could see them trading players, and I could see them holding back. The only thing is, Derrick Henry deserves better. That's the only thing.
Bingo.
I think he deserves a lot. He's made this franchise what it is right now. But do I think we can get? I know there was something people saying like second round. No one's gonna give a second round to Derrick Henry. A possibility a third round, but just being his age, yes, it's Derrick Henry. He's still a threat.
Yeah.
I just see a third round pick. And regardless, I heard about D-Hop as well and all this, but I don't know. If you trade players for, like I said, for draft picks, then you know what the direction this team's going with. I think regardless, I think they're still going to try to play competitive football. Obviously, Mike Rabel's going to say the same thing he's been saying about, it's a team, this and that, but I really don't know, man. I mean, only time will tell,
Well, man, we appreciate you coming on, dude. I know it's been a while. I'm so happy to get you back on here. Appreciate you very much. And you guys go follow Mr. Titan. He's been around for a long time in this Titans YouTube game. His Twitter is awesome. You always got fun stuff, man. If you haven't, check out his YouTube page, because he did a vlog of pretty much every day you were in London. I watched it every day. It's cool because you not only do you show the game, you show all the places you went to and the fans, and you did a great job, man, and we appreciate it.
Especially, it's funny as the videos go throughout my day from the morning. At night, it's when it gets a little crazy and stuff, and it was fun. Like I said, we went to a strip club all 4 nights called Club Oops, and it was all about it. Honestly, and it was pretty funny, man. Like I said, it was a good time. Had a couple of super fans out there. We had Chili Pepper, you had Macho Man Titan. We had Pope out there. But it was fun. It was fun to do the vlogs for everyone just that was overseas, watching and enjoying it, and saying thank you, just because they felt like they were part of the group, the part of the day, and that's what I wanted, just it's, like I said, it's pretty funny stuff. There's some things there that are pretty funny.
Definitely, man. It was cool what you get. So tighten up, buddy, man. Have a good night, brother.
Yeah, you too, man. Guys, thank you so much for having me on, and always tighten up. Let's go.
See you, man. All right, that's Mr. Titan. You guys go follow him, man. Like I said, he's been doing this for a while. So he puts out a lot of good content, does UFC content. But anyways, James, we'll go for a little while longer. Guys, tighten up that like button if you haven't yet. We appreciate you guys very much. We really do. You guys keep this channel going. I wanted to get to something. I want to say it was another video here. So no, let's talk about this. Let's start. So MPF Fulton, right? Like, we've been screaming for the last couple weeks. Let's freaking replace these guys. Like, let them ride the pine. And if you want to take one positive out of this game, other than how Derrick Henry played and Spears played pretty decent, if you want to take a positive out of this game, James, just in my eyes, them replacing Dillard, I thought was huge. And them taking Fulton out of the game and putting Avery in, I thought was huge because that's something Mike Vrabel usually doesn't do. We saw how he was ride or die with Dennis Daly last season. He had freaking, what's his name, sitting on a bench the whole time, Radens, which I'm not saying Radens is great or much better, but he had a guy there that people were screaming. Is this a big deal? I mean, do you think MPF can hold up at left tackle? Do you think he can be better than Dillard? And that with Avery too.
Okay. He can't be worse. Okay. He cannot be worse. I mean,
we said that about Daly.
And Daly didn't get any worse. He didn't get any better either, but he didn't get any worse.
Is Daly better than Dillard?
Honestly, it's you Dillard is Daly 2.0.
Right.
I think MPF, you guys got to keep in mind that MPF hasn't played left tackle in a long time. And it's been
Very
a
true.
long time. So, and secondly, he's playing with next to someone he hasn't played next to. Everyone thinks that getting out there and blocking on the offensive line is, you just block your guy. But you've got to know what the guy next to you likes, dislikes, how he's going to react to certain types of rush schemes and things like that. If you don't know that, then you're going to end up with what we've got. Now, as the game went on, he actually played better. I'd still put him in maybe D+ category at this point, but hey, it's better than an F-. So I think as they begin to get gel a little bit better, I think that's going to be something that I'm going to be looking at really heavily after this bye week on that offensive line. The next thing is that Fulton's got to get his head out of his derriere. He really does.
Yeah.
At some point in time, he's going to. I mean, because he has the potential. I really do believe he has the potential of being an all-pro type corner.
He does, and he's played like it before.
He's just got to stop trying to be the hero.
Yeah.
And that was, I think that's specifically why they pulled him out of the game. Is he kept trying to go for interceptions and kept getting burned. I mean, at this point in this season right here, he should be at Vanderbilt right now in the burn unit because he's gotten burned so bad that his NFL life is in danger.
But what did you say at the beginning of the show, though, too? And throughout the show, what's the theme been? Individuality, not team. I think it goes back to that, right?
Yeah, he's just these guys have to play. Well, Dillard is the exception. He's just not a very good. He's not what I thought he would be at tackle, at left tackle,
especially year 5 being a first round pick.
Yeah, he should be better than he is. But I also have to look at is what's going on with our offensive line coaching. Guys that get here tend to either
he was a tight ends coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, they either regress or they stay the same. They don't get better. And to me, that's a problem. That's a real problem when it comes to offensive line. If your guys are not getting better or they're regressing, then hey, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Why do I need you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, if you never got better at your job, how long would they keep you? If the day you started, you stayed the same the whole time at your job, how long would they keep you? They wouldn't keep you very long, right? Because they expect you to get better than your first, your first year on the job where you're still learning the ropes. When it comes to Fulton, bro, I'm gonna keep saying this. I believe that you could be all pro if you played within the confines of this defense, played your role in this defense. what's the old saying? Know your role. He doesn't know his role. And he should know his role. He's played his role and played well in his role. But all of a sudden it's like he doesn't know how to play. And at this level, you just don't forget how to play corner. You just don't. When it comes to the quarterbacks, I just don't know if this team, if this coaching staff knows how to evaluate guys. When it comes to receivers, I'm not sure if they know how to evaluate receivers and coach them up and get them ready to play.
Right.
I'm not convinced of any of that. When it comes to injuries, how is it we get guys that are on this team? They're injured the entire time they're here. We let them go, and then all of a sudden you can't drag them off the team. You can't drag them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't. All of a sudden they're never injured. I don't get it. How is that possible? Either there's something wrong with them here, or there's something wrong with how we're training these guys and how they're getting prepared to play an NFL season.
The Saints just tied Jacksonville. Jacksonville was up like 24-6 or something, and the Saints came back. And I'm hoping Jacksonville loses just because we need them to lose. So it's 24 to right.
Yeah, I got
what 6:38 to go from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I believe that's right. I can't. Right now,
hopefully Jacksonville will lose. That would be nice.
Yeah, it's 6:38 to go, 24-24. The Saints just scored. And it's just now a kickoff. So
I don't know. Hopefully Jacksonville will
what do you think?
Blow it and lose. And that would what's that?
What do you think about this team or this group of guys that are in the same organization, as I'd like to call it?
I feel like this team is just, I think we've seen what we are going to see from this team. I think it's going to be up and down. I think there's going to be, I think you're right. I agree with you. I really do. I think they're, I think they're going to win some games here and there. Maybe you're looking at a 7-win team, something like that. I just feel like, a lot of teams out there in the NFL can play pretty close games. And, I think bad teams are inconsistent teams. And I think that's what we are. I think you saw it like against the Bengals. We came out and played like the Tennessee Titans can play. Like they have it in them. It's just like you're saying, man, it's like this individualistic mentality, kind of not much accountability. There's only a couple players, but too, at the same time, I'm not a football player. I'm not in the locker room. It's hard for me to say, oh, well, this certain guy's not giving it at all, and this certain guy's not giving it his all. But I mean, from an outsider looking in, I've watched this team for a long time. It just doesn't seem like they're really into it, man. Like they come out flat. Honestly, look, I know Ryan Tannehill gives this team the best shot to win, but it's not saying much. Like that's the sad part about it. Like, I think he's got to a point where he just doesn't have that arm strength that he had. Like he's 35 now. He's hurt. What kind of irritated me, James, in this game was Ryan Tannehill's out there hobbling, can barely stand up. He goes out there and throws that interception after he's already hurt. And to me, it's like, if he would have pulled himself out of the game then, Now, granted, I'm not saying Malik would have brought us back by any stretch of the imagination, but if he doesn't throw that pick there, we might be talking about a much closer game. You know, we might be talking about the difference in how they'd have to coach the game with Malik Willis in there at that certain time frame, because they throw the interception, they let up the score, then you're way behind. You know what I mean? And you expect Malik to come in there in the crap show that it was and turn the game around. It's not happening. You maybe could have relied more on the run if Tannehill doesn't throw that pick right there and you kind of play ball control. So I'm not blaming Tannehill like for the whole season or nothing, but the guy's getting paid $36 million this year. He's the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and he's 32nd out of 33rd in QB rating. Now, say what you want. Say what you want, you know, about the offensive line, about everything else. I'm not saying you, but just in general, the fans. I mean, come on, man. If you're getting paid that much money, you got to throw more than 2 freaking touchdowns, period. I don't care if you got freaking, you know, a high school offensive line back there. I just, like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of just up to here with this team at this point. I'm always a fan. I'm going to watch them every game, but I feel like, and I'll shut up, man, but is it rebuild time, man? I mean, I feel like that's where we're at. Like, we might as well do it before the new season or before the new stadium is built.
All right. Here's my
I don't know.
of what you said. Okay. My assessment is that, look, that Tannehill going back out there, playing hurt, throwing that interception, in a way, for all the things that he's done for this franchise, okay,
Right.
I give him a pass on it. It's hard to swallow it, but I give him a pass because he's made this franchise better. Number one. Number two, when it comes to rebuild, here's the problem with rebuild. Okay, the Titans don't have,
I see you, Maddie. I'm not ignoring you, buddy. I see you. I see you, brother. I appreciate you.
The Titans don't have a 3rd, a 5th, and a 6th round pick next year. We don't have our full complement of picks. We have a 1st, a 2nd, a 4th, and I believe it's 2 7ths next year. So we don't have the draft capital to do a full rebuild. We don't. Teams that have a full rebuild, they might be missing one of their top 5 draft picks or something like that, and you can do a rebuild based on that. But we just don't have the draft capital to do a rebuild. It's just not there. Number 2, we don't have the trade capital to do a rebuild either. Who are we going to trade away? Well, you got, everybody says, oh, you can trade this guy or that guy. All the people who they're talking about trading are either on a 1-year or 2-year deal. And teams don't like to trade for guys who they're going to have to turn around and just sign. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why would I trade? Okay, look at it this way. Why would I trade for Derrick Henry when he's going to be an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season?
Right.
Unless he's the only component that I need to make a Super Bowl run. It doesn't make any sense to trade for him. Why would I trade for Ryan Tannehill?
I don't think anybody's going to take Tannehill because of his salary.
Why would I trade him? Why would I trade for him? He's
probably I don't think anybody's going to take Tannehill
anyway, right?
I just don't think.
You see what I'm saying? There's no upside to a full rebuild at this point because it would take you forever.
It's Sin's comment. Too good for a rebuild, not good enough to compete. My life as a Titans fan.
Think about it. The Titans for years and years have been too good to get a top 10 pick, but too bad. But too bad to get a bottom 10 pick. We've been kind of, right there. And
Pretty boy might be right. I mean, his ankle might be cooked at this point. I mean, who knows?
I mean, it's the same ankle, same injury, high ankle sprain. But look, give me a quarterback that's on this team, or that we can go out and get off the street, that's better than him right now. I'll wait.
I mean, nobody that's on the street, nobody that's in just, as far as that goes. And I agree with you there. I mean,
So how are you going to trade? How are you going to trade for a quarterback then? Okay, I just told you don't have a third, a fifth, or a sixth.
Yeah,
So
nobody's going to take Tannehill. He's making too much money. Nobody is going to. Who wants to take on that contract for a hurt, aging quarterback who's thrown 2 touchdowns this year? I mean, I just don't. I don't know.
And Ryan Tannehill's, the reason why he's being paid so much this year is because of all the restructures he's had to do to keep this team competitive over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
These were all this is all restructured money that he was owed from previous years. So when you say, yeah, he's the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL, he wouldn't have been the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL if it hadn't been for all the trades. For all of that.
What about
Matty asked, what about Colin
What about
Kaepernick?
Maddie's Colin Crapper?
Oh my God. At this point,
Oh
Colin's been out.
God, I had to
of the
put
game
that
for
on.
too long. At this point, he's been out of the game.
That ship has sailed for anything. That's why nobody's picked him up. That guy has been clamoring for begging for somebody to give him a tryout. Like, but that was.
But I
funny.
think I do think at this point he's better than what than everyone else on in this quarterback room. I think he's better than
I do
Will
too.
Levis,
I mean, I
and
do
I think
too,
he's
man.
better than I think he's better than Malik. I mean, we are where we are.
We don't have the O-line to protect him, and it's a sad situation, and I think that Rand Carthon, it's his first season. I feel like he did what he could with what he had to work with. And now Dillard, I mean, that's kind of iffy, but I think here's the thing, as Titans fans, we have this false hope because we were 7-10 last year. We started out 7-3. We looked decent, but at the same time, our schedule was super cake up until like that 10-game spot. We had a super easy schedule. Then we started collapsing. The few years before, we were a winning franchise. We won a lot of football games over the last 7 or 8 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. But last year, you kind of started seeing it kind of start to crumble. This year, I feel like Rand tried to do what he could do. It's like we get a little hope. We get D-Hop coming in. And shout out to D-Hop. He's been playing well, and plays hard and is competitive. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys that is a team player. He is out there busting it and doing what he can do to make this team better. And so shout out to D-Hop. No issues there, but like, I just feel like they kind of gave us a little hope. Like, okay, well, we're not in rebuild. We kind of retooled. And, if the offensive line, and I said it before the season, James, we all did. It all hinges on the offensive line. This entire season hinges on the offensive line,
Yeah.
And we're seeing the results of that, I only can hope with the money we have. Like you said, Ryan Tannehill, to me, is not tradable. And I think that's kind of what you're getting at, too. Tannehill's gone next year. That frees up a bunch of money. It remains to be seen what happens with Derrick Henry. They're probably not going to keep him just because of his age. We're going to have about $87 million going into the offseason. We might get a really good draft pick depending on how many games we win this year. I don't know, man. I just feel like it's coming to a time where we're getting to the point where we're going to have to make a few big moves and prepare for the future.
It's one of those. I don't know if there's not very many people who probably were listening to us that will remember this movie. It's called My Fellow Americans. It was a movie back in the mid '90s, and it had James Garner, Jack Lemmon, Dan Aykroyd, and several other stars. They play like former presidents. You thought you thought that you thought that we were you thought I was stupid, but it was just a facade. you know, uh, we thought that this team was competitive, but it turns out it was just a giant facade. This team has they've got the play. I think that defensively they have the players. I think it's part of its effort, part of it is not playing within the scheme, and part of it is simply trying to do too much when you're not supposed to. So
Right.
offensively, I think we have no speed right now because Burks is out. We have no speed at we have nobody that can take the top off of the defense. So guess what? They're not even playing like they're the defenses aren't even playing for it.
Right. Yeah, man. It's hard too when the defense makes a play and you go out there and then I mean, it was 18-13, and then Ryan Tannehill comes out there, throws that terrible pass. I mean, I get what Tannehill was trying to do, but he just didn't get enough air on the ball. I mean, he did, the receiver had beat his man, but he just didn't put enough air on the ball. And in that situation, you got Tajay Spears, who's darn near wide open on the left side for like a 5-yard game. He makes that curl route or whatever you call it. He's there wide open, but Tannehill doesn't even look his way, throws that stupid pass. And it's like, man, come on. We always do this. Like, come on, man. Like, when are we going to learn? And when are you going to learn?
Well, I mean,
and it's just, I don't know, man.
I think that he was pressing because he didn't know how many times he's going to get a chance to score. So he was kind of pressing.
Yeah, you're right. You could be right there. I mean
how many times? What's our percentage? What's our red zone percentage of touchdowns right now? What, -14?
Oh, it's awful. We're like last in the league, dude. I mean,
we went from first in the league in red zone conversions to last in the league, or very close to last in the league in red zone conversions. That doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by accident. There are some things that are going wrong, and we got to fix it. If we don't fix it really fast, and I do mean by this bye week, you're going to see some wholesale changes. I think you're going to start seeing guys get put in there who they would never think about putting in, just to see what they've got, to see if they can get some of these guys to start playing. So, I mean, sorry.
Sin City says, oh, no, that's all right, man. Sin City says the car is driving for the win. Beat the Jags. So we'll see if they can pull it out, and that would put the Jags at 4-3. Let's look at so you look at the AFC South there. That would put the Jags 4-3, Indy's 3-3, Houston 3-3. So, if Jacksonville loses this game, this division's still in reach for the Titans. I mean, it really is. I mean, they still have to play Jacksonville twice. They play Indianapolis once. We haven't played Houston yet. So this division is not over by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, the Titans could very well still win this division if somehow they, start playing better and just get it together. I mean, this division is just a pretty bad division, It's looked better this season. Houston's looked decent with, what's his name? Stroud's been a surprise. Indianapolis is probably going to fall some. Anthony Richards out for the year. Richardson, I like Minshew, but I don't think he's really got, I don't think he's as good as a lot of people like paint him out to be. Like he's some, what's his name, Ryan Fitzmagic type of player. But
You don't believe in
I
the
don't
Fu?
know.
You don't believe in the Fu Manchu?
I do, but I don't think he's like. I mean, I think he's good for a few games here and there. Like I just don't see him as a every down winning every week winning quarterback. And he's I mean he's on the Colts too. But
Now,
anyways, I don't know.
Here's a rumor that I've been hearing.
Okay.
That and I wanted to get your reaction to it. I want to get it live right here so everybody can see it. The rumor
Okay.
I've been hearing is that Bill Belichick is on the hot seat in New England.
Yeah, no, I mean there's been a few reports of that. There was something that came out today where it talked about that, and I think we should hire Bill Belichick as our offensive coordinator.
When Bill Belichick leaves New England, that's it. He's done.
Yeah, I think he'll hang it up. And it what sucks for Belichick is it's like he had all those great years, and a lot of people are like, oh, he doesn't have it without Brady, but they were meant for each other, and you can't take that away from Bill. Like I feel like he's still one of the greatest coaches that ever coached, and it's him and Brady. They were built for each other. They were so different, but I think they were great together.
This is where I kind of slightly disagree. Okay, I slightly disagree.
Yeah, man.
I do think they were meant for each other, but the difference is that how many Super Bowls has Bill Belichick left since Brady left, and how many Super Bowls has Brady won since he left New England?
Very true. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think you see, and Vrabel can do this sometimes. I mean, I feel like he's shown it a little bit, but getting the best out of like players that typically wouldn't be that great or be even playing, I feel like Belichick's done that a lot defensively throughout the years. But no, I agree with you, man. I think Belichick's done. I don't think he doesn't have the quarterback for one thing, I mean, he's had Matt Jones and what's his name, Zappy, and they are just not good, and he just doesn't have much. It's like the Titans. They don't really have many playmakers on offense. It's just kind of that stagnant, like old school, like, like he's still trying to do the dink and dunk thing with Jones, and it's just not working. Like it's not working. He's not Tom Brady. It's sad because Bill was won a lot of games, won 7 Super Bowls.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know what? This is how I would handle the Titans. Make me head coach for the day, right? I go in and I say, okay, this is what I do. I come in, say, okay, look, guys, I go up to each and every one that's been making these stupid mistakes. All the guys who I believe as a head coach have not been playing hard, and I go up to you and say, look, this is your last game. This is a prove it game. Either you prove it to me or you're sitting on the bench. I'm done. I'm not playing with you guys no more. I'm not jerking around no more. I'm not covering for you guys no more. You either play well, do your responsibilities and play like you're supposed to give me 100%. If you can reach in the tank and give me 110%, that's better. But I tell you right now, you're done. You're going to be done with this team if you do not play well.
Right. MB makes a good point, too. He says Brady went to a loaded team. He wouldn't have won the Super Bowl if he went to the Jets or Jags. Yeah, I mean, you're right. And Tampa Bay was loaded, and they built that team to win a Super Bowl. I mean, it's kind of like what they did with the Rams and Stafford and all that, So
but
I see your point there, MB. Yeah, but he did, and he played great. He did. You're right. No, he did.
I mean, 100%. And in football years, he was 126 years old out there throwing to Gronkowski.
And the thing is,
who was 122.
And the thing is, Brady could still play.
Yeah.
I bet you Brady could have played 2 or 3 more years probably. And been decent. With a decent offensive line. I bet you he could have played another couple years.
Do you? I was just reading this one from Mr. Jones here. The last one I see here from Mr. Jones, Eddie George needs. Do you think they should contact Dr. George and say, "Hey, can you come in and give us a hand here?"
I mean, Eddie still coaching? Is he still coaching TSU?
He is. He's I want to say
he was the head coach for a. I don't know. He was the head coach for a while, I think.
I don't remember if he is what he's doing now. Is he the head coach or is he still
Eddie George, Tennessee coach Eddie George call out to fans. Yeah, he's still the coach.
He's still the coach.
He's still the coach for
but
TSU.
Isn't he? He's an honorary. He's got an honorary doctorate, doesn't he?
Possibly. I don't know. I wonder what his record is with TSU.
TSU is
Titans legend Eddie George blasts TSU fans for low attendance despite on-field success.
He's 13-15 with TSU.
I guess he's mad about the fans. They're 4-2 this year. And he says, we have the chance to go 5-2. We have the chance to have a winning record and a winning season. And people who are interested in watching us play will come out. Some people may not agree with me being the hiree here, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But it's not me that you're not supporting. It's these kids. He better watch it, man. He's gonna make even more people mad. But yeah, I guess they don't. I don't know. Some people might not agree with him, but he's 4-2. I mean, that's not bad.
Well, it's one of those HBCU things.
Yeah,
I think HBCU
it's small school.
Yeah. I think that, not to get off on a huge tangent here, but I think that the problems with HBCUs right now is that they don't get the recognition they deserve. They don't get the funding that they deserve. And, they don't get these giant media contracts that some of these larger schools get. I mean, if they got 1/10 the contract that, Tennessee got, or Ohio State, or just name off any of these top schools out there. If they got 1/10 that contract, they would be doing great. And the funny thing is that if you ever go watch TSU play, they're a doggone good team. They are really good. They've got some players. They got some guys who are going to go to the NFL, but you don't see them, and it's a travesty to me.
Right. Well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up, man. I appreciate all you guys tuning in tonight. It's been a great show, man. Mr. Titan was on. That was fun. You guys go check out our sponsor, Homage, for sure. The link is in the description there. Awesome Titans gear, NFL gear. If you're mad at, the Titans and you want to buy somebody else's, no, I'm just kidding. But they got amazing Titans gear. And James is wearing one of their shirts now. It's actually on the screen there too. You can get, it's either, man, I'm bad about this. It's either 15 or 20% off going on right now. But you guys got to check them out. Link in the description. Homage. They're awesome, and their shirts are amazing. They great material and all that type of stuff. The starter jackets are awesome. But James, man, any last words, my dear friend?
You may not like what we have to say, and we don't like having to say about this team. We don't like to say this about this franchise. But what do I always say we do? We keep it real. And keeping it real is, this is a rough one here, bro. But everybody out there, go to Homage, pick up a couple of shirts, and I will tell you, this is Comfortable. I mean,
They're awesome shirts.
Yeah, this is a lounging shirt. You just want to sit back and maybe have an adult beverage or two, and it's just a
Yeah.
very, very comfortable shirt. It really is.
Dude,
And
I made the biggest mistake of getting the Victory Monday shirt. I can't ever wear it. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like why did I buy that shirt? Out of all the shirts I could have picked,
Well, maybe we should just put on Disappointment Day on.
Yeah, Disappointment Monday, Loser Monday. Like,
well, I mean, but
golly.
I think the Titans. I really do think they can pull this out, but they just have to make up their minds that they're going to play.
I think so too. I think they can win some games, man. I really do. I think they can. I mean, there's no reason this defense shouldn't be playing better. No reason. I mean, they got a decent roster. It's not like they're terrible. It's just, maybe something will click after this bye, man. Who knows? I don't want them to tank. I get it. There's a quarterback out there that's incredible. That's a generational talent. That's one of the highest touted quarterbacks coming out of college since Andrew Luck and Caleb Williams. Drake May's also pretty good. I don't want my team to personally just tank, but if you start going 2-6, 2-7, I mean,
And an update on the game real quick.
Maybe
Jacksonville pulled it out 31-24.
No! God. Now I got to hear it from Chip on Twitter. I'm surprised he's not in here. He's watching the game. He's a Jackson. XD Gamer, shout out to you, buddy. I'm sure you're happy.
Like I said, I don't want to sound like I think that this team is done and over with. I think this team could really pull this out. And they could definitely win their division. They just have to, they have to. It's not even coach better, play better. It's do your job, and that's it. Just do your job and play with a little bit of heart. I mean, I want to see some guys out there with heart. I want to see some guys out there just going at it. That's what I want to see. And I've only seen it with like 2 guys. What about that big Jeffrey Simmons getting into a fight after the game?
Right.
Well, you kick a dude in his junk. You know what I'm saying?
I can't stand OBJ, dude. I cannot stand that dude. Never liked him.
And then his little. I'm not going. Then he goes and snitches and runs and tries to scream for the security. Really? Come on, bro. Come on now. If you gonna start something, you finish it. Don't be, oh my God, he's coming after me now because I kicked him in his junk.
Yeah,
come on, bro. Come on now. That's not how you handle your business. You know what I'm saying?
That freaking dude, man. I don't care for him. But anyways, man, tighten up, everybody. We really appreciate you. Tighten up that like button if you haven't yet. James, what do you always say at the end of the show?
Hey, keep it real and peace.
Keep it real, guys. Tighten up.